The last time I sat here, I had a conversation with none other than a lady that was representing Germany at that time. I remember the last question I asked her whether she is optimistic and hopeful that she will be able to represent the country at some time, Kenya to be specific. And oh my, I think my prayers were answered. Now she will be doing duty for the country, and she's already competed for the country one time in Estonia. Alexander Ndolo.
Hi.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Uko vipi?
Oh, my Swahili is still very...
I know, lakini you learn kidogo kidogo.
Kidogo.
How have you been?
Good.
It's been a number of months.
Yes.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. You
this
too.
time I can confidently say as a Kenyan athlete.
Yes.
How has the journey been? I know from the last time that we had a chat, you're very confident, optimistic that if things goes positive, then you will be able to be representing the country. Now that is a reality, and it happened for the very first time last year in Estonia.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Estonia was my first competition. I have competed 6 times since. 6 World Cups, from Estonia to China to Hungary, like all over the globe, and it's been good. I think people like that I'm doing it, and I'm having fun.
Talk about having fun. How has the transition been? I know from being an active German athlete, and now the tides has turned, and now you are an active Kenyan athlete. Is there any difference?
There's a big difference, a big difference. So for one, I left behind a system that was very in place already. And the Kenya Fencing Federation is still a very small, young federation. And so, unfortunately, for example, there is no funding to send me to competitions. So before, I had the German system where they would pay for my flights, my hotel, all my competitions. And in addition, I had a job with the German army where I would get a monthly stipend or earnings. And now I'm out of the German army. And the federation, the Kenyan Federation, can't yet pay for my travels. So far I've paid everything myself. And that part for sure has been difficult. Yeah.
I'm not talking about that because I know as an athlete, you're saying 6 competitions and you're going around the globe. It's not just like a continent affair. It's quite taxing and also expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been taxing, as you said, because 2 weeks ago I was in China, so, you know, you have the jet lag when you're coming back to Europe and then traveling to another continent again. In another 3 weeks I will be in Latin America, so it's always this strain on the body, which I was already used to. Now, unfortunately, additionally comes the straining part of kind of worrying where will my next fundings come from, because I'm very confident that I can qualify for the Olympics in Paris. I have to be the best African athlete for that. And right now I am the best African athlete, like #1 in Africa and top 10 in the world. So that part I think will work out. But the question is, how do I get to those competitions?
Yeah. I know, talking about how you get to those competitions, I know we have friends in the Ministry of Sports, also friends at the National Olympics Committee level. Paris 2024 will be the ultimate goal, looking at the major competitions that are lining up this particular time. Do you have any plans actually, maybe with the local federation? I know it's still a baby, and there is a lot that needs to be done to be able to make even just the local federation be able to stand and support you. But what are the plans and what kind of system or regime? Because you have to compete before the Olympics.
Yes.
And there is a lot that needs to be done before that Olympics. Do you see that you'll be able to have garnered that much needed support? But what is your ultimate goal and also plan?
We'll see. I mean, this is also why I'm here right now. I'm here to introduce myself now as a team member of Team Kenya, you know, to all the officials, to the other athletes. I'm here for a week, and I'm meeting as many people as possible just to put a real face behind the name Ndolo, because I think people have heard about me fencing for Kenya, but now, you know, I actually want to meet face to face with the people. And I'm trying to fundraise, you know, to just talk to anyone who thinks they would like to chip in to help support this project, because to qualify in fencing there's a 1-year period with 10 major competitions, 8 World Cups, African Championships and World Championships. And you have to go to those. It's not like maybe in in athletics, yeah, that you say as if I run my time once, then I don't have to go maybe to other competitions. No, in fencing it's through the world ranking. You have to go to each to really get those points to stay high in the ranking. And so that is like the big challenge, to say, okay, can we send her to wherever, to Abu Dhabi, where I also have to go in May, and all those things. And I like being optimistic, so I'm staying optimistic. And as I said, I'm talking to as many people as possible, and just, try to convince them that it's a good idea. Because last summer I won the silver medal at World Championships. The same athletes, more or less, will be at the Olympics, So I have a really good chance of not just going, but performing well. Whoever wants to be a part of this, come on board.
I know maybe a number of partners will be so much interested to be able to support. But looking at the federation, where we were the last time that we were having a conversation, and now, have we made any strides? Has anything changed? I know one of the biggest things that has changed is that now you are a Kenyan athlete, part of the fencing federation in the country, and you're also a founding member, I should say. So what has changed during your time that you've made the transition, apart from you now saying that you'll be representing the country, to just saying that at least there's some positive strides and also a growth?
I think there's a growth because we get more and more young coaches, which is also very important. If you want to build a broad base, you need coaches who can educate those young pupils. So we are approaching schools. There is a fencing program at Banda. We've approached Kenyan Golf Club, to give them the opportunity to have also fencing classes. So I think that gives me a lot of hope to see our young coaches, go out into Nairobi and all of the country hopefully soon, and just build the basis. Because of course it's great to have a champion who is talking to the media and who can bring good results, but I want to see the next champions, and so we're on a good road to that.
There's a lot of competitions that will be lining up in the next few months. Going to the Olympics, and even after the Olympics, there is also a lot that is on the cards. Being one of the people that will be and is representing Kenya, can we be able to say that others will be able to join, and the talent is there, the support will be there, and hopefully people will come and support these initiatives, and at least when you go to compete, we say we have 3, 4, 5 Kenyan athletes representing, and maybe having an opportunity that they can be able to qualify and represent the country at that level.
For sure. I mean, if we would have even more funding, then I could already tell you 2 other athletes who are simultaneously also youth coaches, but they're also athletes who would love to go to competitions. So, off the top of my head, we could be a team of 3, and I'm sure there are others who would love to go to those international competitions. I think, to be really honest, for Paris, it will be very difficult for anyone other than me to qualify, just because the system is so difficult. I mean, being number 1 on the continent is not easy to have that guaranteed spot. But, if we support them now and they get the exposure and they really, can go to those competitions, I'm sure that 1, 2, 3, 4 will have a good chance of maybe qualifying for LA.
Now, I'm a little bit curious because I know how expensive the sport can be, and the support that is needed is massive. Now, if you're talking to a person out there who's willing, might be able to assist, and I know it's not just assisting you, because it needs to go all the way to the federation so that we can also be able to curb and also nurture all this talent. What needs to be done? What do you expect? Because some of us have been able to see you compete, and we know the value and the pride that comes with it. For the country, we always go to different competition. When the national anthem is sung out there, I think it's one of the greatest moments that we have as Africans who love sport, as Kenyans who love sport. But for a person who might be willing to support, a person or a company or any other stakeholder out there, and I know the Ministry of Sports and also the National Olympics Committee have a very big responsibility in making this dream become a reality. What should they know that Ndolo is bringing on the table?
What I'm bringing as someone who's being supported? Well, I think sports really projects a lot of good values. So apart from the fact that you want your company being represented or affiliated with medals, I think the fact that I always say my 3 Ps: passion, positivity, and perseverance. Yes, you can learn this from me and you can associate it with me, because there are competitions where I've trained for weeks and months and I might drop out in the first round.
Yeah.
And this is part of the game. But I pick myself up and I keep going. So, all those things that sports stands for, you can have if you affiliate yourself with me. And except for tobacco, talk to me, I'm open for all the corporations because I think there's a beauty in most products or in most... Yeah, in most companies, you can find a common ground because we are all human, So my experience is on the fencing strip, but it's also a human experience of growing, of believing, of adjusting to whatever life throws my way, and just continuing this journey.
I know some of us know your journey, and we've seen you grow. But for the person who's watching you for the very first time, I know we'll have a number who will be watching you for the first time. Who is Ndolo? A person might want to ask, because now we're saying she is an athlete representing Kenya and the fencing is a sport. But let me go back a little bit, just for the benefit of a person watching this for the very first time. Tell us who Ndolo is and what Ndolo will be doing in the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Okay, so I'm the daughter of a Kenyan father, a Polish mother, born and raised in Germany. And so I think I'm a cosmopolitan, like a citizen of the world. But for sure, these 3 nationalities, these 3 identities are very deeply ingrained in me. And I feel all of them have an equal part within my identity. So when I come to Kenya, it's not like I'm visiting a foreign country. Okay, maybe I don't speak Swahili yet, or I don't know all the shortcuts in Nairobi traffic, but I feel like I'm coming home. So it's never like, are you leaving home? Are you coming home? No, like all these places are connected to me. And as for the next years, 99% of what I do, or 90% of my days, of course, are sports related, because I train 6 days a week, once or twice a day, and I'm a fully professional, So from my diet to how I interact with people, or who I actually let come close to me, sleeping, all of this is focused on one goal: performing the best, making a good African championships, which will happen before the Paris Olympics, good world championships. So all of this, So yes, I'm a human being that likes to sing, I like to dance, I like to travel, read, swim. I have all these hobbies. But mostly at the moment I'm an athlete,
And it boils up to discipline, because what you're talking about is a proper management, your time management, almost every other single thing that you're doing. How important and vital is discipline for any athlete? I know as a fencer, it plays a critical role, but it also plays a critical role across board for all the other disciplines.
Yeah, I think for all athletes, discipline is crucial, because at a certain point everyone is talented, and then it just comes down to your mindset. Are you willing to walk the extra mile? Are you willing to go to sleep early? Like, I will do things like, if I have to stand up at 4 to catch a flight, I will be in bed by 8 or 7. Just small things like this. And so it is very important, self-discipline, but also when you then achieve your goals, when you have like a really good result, whether it being a medal, or if you just, let's say, wanted to be in the top 20 or top 8 in a competition, you can be really proud because you knew you did everything you could. And last summer we talked about my silver medal, and I was and I'm really proud of it. Some people might say, oh, she lost the gold, or she almost got the gold. But I know there's nothing I could have done more. So for that moment, silver was the absolute best, and I'm very happy with it. I have no regrets because I structure my life in a way that I don't need to feel regret.
I know there is a lot that always comes with a person going all out and competing. We always have a lot of conversations, for instance, in the country about ladies and also women in sport. How difficult or easy is it for you as a lady to be a fencer?
So for me personally, there isn't a big difference. I know that in some countries there will be coaches who will want to train the men rather than the women because they think there's more glory in it. But I'm very tall. I'm pretty physical also in my fencing style. So I actually train most of the time with the men. Of course, I don't always win. There are even days when I will win 1 out of 10 matches. But they have learned to respect me because fencing is not just a physical game, it is also a game of strategy. So if my strategy is good, I might beat a man who's like much taller, much stronger than me. And this is also one of the beauties of the sport for me, because you can almost compare men and women's competitions, because you're saying, look, like, she is very strong, she can even beat a man, so there shouldn't even be any talk of, oh, this isn't a real competition just because it's women who compete in it.
I know in Kenya, in the world of athletics, the conversation has been dented a little bit with a vice called doping. And it has become a very big issue when you think of a Kenyan athlete out there. From where you are, talk to a young girl, young boy in any sports and how important it is to have it clean and play clean in the world of sports.
I believe that it comes down to yourself, you know. Of course, there are systems in some sports where it's maybe difficult to say no. But I think if you want to be able to look into the mirror, and if you want to actually feel that joy and cherish that medal or that good result, then you have to stay away from doping. Apart from the medical problems that you will get if you push your body through those illegal substances. So I think just ask yourself, do you want an easy win or do you want something that you can really be proud of? And you will never know. If you used an illegal substance, you will never know, could I have achieved it without it? Could I have done it clean? And so just stay away from it, say no to it. And I hope that we can get rid of this image, because the Kenyan talent is so big that it shouldn't overshadow all the good, clean results that we make through the wrongdoings of a few black sheep, you know.
I know your calendar might be a tough one and also a tight one. What are some of the events, or what are some of your immediate plans at this particular time? Because I will assume that you have a full timetable that is upset and ready to go. So where are we heading from here?
Okay, so I'm leaving the country on Monday. Then I will be home for 10 days. Then I will go to Hungary for a training camp for a week. After this, immediately I will go to Colombia for a World Cup. I always go a week before, if it's a very different time zone, to just get used to the time. Exactly, to get used to the time zone. After Colombia, I'm home for 10 days. Then I'm flying to Abu Dhabi for a long weekend, also for a competition. And then I will prepare for the African Championships. But Abu Dhabi is already at the end of May. So what I told you is in a matter of weeks. And 3 weeks after Abu Dhabi, I'm already competing at African Championships in Cairo. Another 3-4 weeks after, we have the World Championships in Italy. In between, there should be some training camps. So it's a very busy time until August, when my season ends.
So if someone maybe was to say, I need to support Ndolo, and I know what she brings on the table, and I know that this also is a talent that also needs to be given that support. Can they be part of this journey?
Of course.
Now?
Of course. Anyone who wants to chip in, if it's 5 shilling, I'm not kidding you, if it's 5 shilling you want to chip in, please do so. Because to get me through a whole year, a whole season, just transportation, flights, hotels, for me, a coach and a physio, which is like the professional way to do it. I need 6 to 10 million, you know. So I think if we all chip in, it's not that much. For one person like me who doesn't have a job outside of fencing, because it's just not possible if you train 2 times a day.
For a person who has lost a job,
who has lost a job, also given up a job.
Given up the job, so that I think that should come out clearly. You give up a job,
yes,
so that you can also represent Kenya.
Yeah.
At your own cost.
Yes. And I've depleted my funds that I had from the previous years from that job to bring myself to the first 6 competitions. And now the next 4, to be honest, I don't even know how I'm going to pay for them. And I love Kenya and I love representing Kenya, and I believe in the dream of building what I see here. But I don't want to come to a point where it gets a bit undignified. You know, I'm at an age where I don't want to ask my parents for money for rent anymore, or for food, or, you know, whatever.
So, final sentiments. I know there is a lot that needs to be done just to support the Fencing Federation, but also there's a lot that needs to be done so as to support Alexander, to be specific. Now, in your own assessment, how much are you promising the Kenyans that you're going? I know you've been doing it. It does not even need to be said in any other way, but how much are you putting your effort and your mind and everything into this, in your quest to be in the Olympics and even thereafter, and any other competition that you're going to go into?
For the next 16 months, which is roughly the time until Paris 2024, this is everything. This is my main goal. Like, you know, you have to understand, as professional athletes, we also chip away time with our families, you know, like with our loved ones. So yeah, we have things like FaceTime, but I have young nieces and nephews that I love, that I'm right now not seeing growing up because I'm almost constantly traveling. Now is Easter break, most of us go up country. I also have an up country in Germany where my other family lives, you know, the one from Europe. I'm not seeing them because I'm here. So I put everything behind this project of making it and being successful in Paris.
Your final words to any person out there?
If you want to chip in, please chip in. Maybe we will be able to show the people where they can actually help. And so yeah, please, you know, I love being positive. It's something that I love about Kenya. So let's, you know, be positive and make this dream come true, and let's build something that we can all be proud of.
I know if you're watching, any person will understand how difficult it always is for any athlete actually to go all out and compete. In the country, I will give you an example. We've seen Football Federation sometime, I know it has changed for a little while, saying that we need finances. The government has been able to support. We've also seen sometime, even locally here, local football teams saying they can't go from one town, for instance, I'll say from Vihiga to Nairobi, because they don't have the finances to do that. But now this is an individual, a lady that has given it all, and she's saying that I'm doing this because I love this country, I want to compete. And yes, we can say we've been able to look at the results and what she's been able to achieve. So performance, that's out of the question. She can be able to bring the results. So the question is, will she get the much needed support? And this I'm telling it direct to the Ministry of Sports. Babna Mwamba, you are our cabinet secretary. This is a lady that needs to be supported. Paul Tergat, you're doing some fantastic work at the National Olympics Committee together with the Secretary General. Again, we will come and ask, this is our own. She also needs to be supported. On our part, we will do what we can to be able to see this dream and also the flag of the country continue to be hoisted high. My name is Moses Wahisi. This has been Inside Sports. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Asante sana.
Yeah.